What's up, y'all? It's a very special day because this is my first ever public reading. And I've been so inspired in creating this Diary of a Hood Magical Girl universe, really, if you will, because I just love the fact that Substack as a platform allows all these things that I really enjoy writing, video, like just so many things can come together in one place. And as somebody that's multifaceted and as diverse and colorful as the rainbow, yeah, I be needing that. So, another thing I'll be needing is readings, okay? I typically do readings for myself. I mean, pretty much at least for like 10 years, like since I've been in my creative practice, I've also been intentional about my spirit practice and communing with my spirit guides, tapping in with my ancestors. So I pretty much wanted to bring that energy to Diary of a Hood Magical Girl in the form of doing a reading that's specifically for folks that resonate with this vibe. You know, a vibe of someone that you know you're magical and you definitely recognize your gifts, but you also may feel that there's weights that have been put on you, right? Like destinies and a world you had to save that you didn't necessarily sign up for, but you know you got the tools. I definitely know my fellow black women can feel me. However, this is definitely for anybody that resonates with that story. You know what I'm saying? Because truly, this world is so disenfranchising that there's a lot of different intersections of identity and being that can resonate with that experience. And the point of my whole spiel is that this is pretty much a safe space for us to explore, like, what is the universe wanting to communicate with us in a tangible way. Now, of course, you're gonna have your own signs. You may see these cards and have your whole own interpretations. Okay, if it don't apply, let it fly. I just hope that you walk away feeling more empowered, feeling more in tune with self, and ultimately in tune with a community of folks that I'm reading for. Because I recognize that as a consumer of tarot videos and just somebody that's gotten readings in person, of course, as well. I just, I'm just in a space where I'm like, I need to be giving back to the collective. So this is that. And I want this to be short and sweet and beautiful, like me. I'm Honey Gold Jasmine, and this is an aura reading. Okay, so I will be reading from the Prism Oracle deck. This is one of my faves. And I really resonate with this one because I always get told I'm hella vibrant. You feel me? And I see it. You feel me? In fact, I see auras. You feel me? I see colors around people and am able to a lot of times just kind of tell what state people are at, like embodying that moment. And what I really love about this deck is it just gets to the point, baby. Like I just feel like it resonates with me so hard because it gets to the point. It's very colorful and it's just one of those honest decks that does not leave a lot of room for uh I guess you could say misinterpretation, right? And so this will be a pretty simple reading in the sense of we're only pulling 3 cards, but shit gonna get deep, okay? And I'm gonna keep it all the way honey. I'm gonna keep it all the way beam with y'all. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. If the reading is making you mad a little bit, then that low-key means it's working. Um yeah. So we're gonna get into it. I cleansed my deck, I shuffled. I didn't necessarily want to bring all that into this space per se. However, it's basically set back at 0. So anything we pull from here is going to be fresh and ready for y'all. Another way I like to do my readings is I don't like shuffling too much, like the whole, like that, like just, shuffling the cards around. I like doing that with my nails. Shout out to the nails. But I don't like shuffling because of the nails. That is a part of it. But another part of it is the fact that I think that, in my opinion, for me at least, it adds more tension, and I think it kind of like makes the weight of like is this card that popped out relevant, or is this card that I'm feeling like pulling out is relevant? I just like to do a nice spread, okay? I just like to do a nice spread. And from this spread, be able to then pick three cards that I'd say feel warm to me, like feel like it's calling me, feel like, it's literally like peeking out sometimes, and pretty much go from there. So I will pull three cards from here. The first representing the current thing you're letting go of, right? Like the energies you're stepping out of. And the second card is more of the present energies you're working with. And then the third card will be the card that pretty much is showing where you're going and a solution, or even just a conclusion to this space that we're opening up, okay? And in the end of all that, one thing I really love to do is to basically create an affirmation that grounds us and closes up the space that we're opening up, so that we can walk away. I mean, the empowered word can be kind of cliche, but feeling empowered, right? Because I really want this space to be for my creative people, creative entrepreneurs, artists, painters, poets, people that need guidance that often was not given to them, not because maybe they didn't have people around them, but not everybody has the capacity to really guide a person that has a mission on their soul, okay? And I can resonate with that. So I'm like, why not start giving back? So, with all that being said, we're going to call in the highest energies, the ones that have our best intentions at heart and impact. Okay, intent and impact need to align when we're calling on our ancestors and we're calling on our spirit guides. So, spirit guides, please, you know, help us see what it is that we need to let go of, what it is that we're embodying, so can be self aware, and ways that we can become better versions of ourselves. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just start pulling. So we have surrender. Ooh, okay. If that ain't a card about letting go, I don't. What we gotta let go of, I don't know. I'm feel okay. This one seemed eager. Okay, let's go. Oh, okay. Okay. So the collective is in a vibe right now. The collective is feeling themselves right now. I really like to keep it balanced, so let's just do like each side pretty much of the deck. Ooh, hold on. Not anxiety, not anxiety. Now, one thing that's interesting about this spread is all of these colors are in different parts of this oracle deck, right? Like the cards are pretty much separated into sections of color. So this first one that we have is surrender. This is in white, or it's really gray, but I think for the sake of the fact that the card would just be white, they just made it gray. But pretty much this card right here is one that is literally saying like you're stepping out of a place where you've had to surrender a lot, like you've had to really consider like what is staying, what is going. And this is pretty relevant for the fact that we're like still in a new year energy. But this may have felt like more heavier than even other new years, where like you had to let go of not only people, because I know people be like, oh yeah, I cut off this toxic ass person or whatever. This may literally have been habits. This may literally have been things that you thought would literally be with you forever, or you thought would at least, like, they were kind of soothing you, right? Like these things that were keeping you comfortable, that you didn't even realize were keeping you comfortable, are things that you had to let go of. So pretty much you learn to stop resisting. Okay, you're stepping out of a place where you're like, dang, I have to like literally choose peace for myself and stop resisting these things. And like you may have had a little bit of an ego death here, like you actually having to come to terms with the fact that you're having to let go of things, people, situations, just things that literally like reoriented your life, right? Like even when you look at the image on here, you could see that this is something, a circle that's getting smaller, or you could even look at it as a circle that's getting bigger, right? Like when you surrender, you actually open up your capacity, you open up the space, but it can feel like it's getting smaller, like dang, I don't have much now, or I'm not doing what I thought I was going to do, so life feels smaller. But in reality, it's all about perspective. So really, like, now that you're free, what can you do, right? So that brings us to our second card. I love that transition and that growth, because with this one, and let me bring it up close too before we just move on, because these cards are really beautiful. This is surrender. Okay, a little mushroom. It's like I'm a surrender too. Hopefully it'll stay up there. And we got our ancient tree wisdom here and the mushrooms to really, bring in the whole psychedelic, vibrant experience. So, for our second card here, we have happiness. So, this is what you're stepping into, friend. Like, I mean, you being able, okay, I'm gonna just surrender that. That's the sign right there. I'm gonna just surrender that. um, but yeah, you're stepping into happiness, and like, oh my gosh, when I tell you this message has just been like screaming at me too personally, have more fun with what you're doing. You let go of a more rigid, more like, I guess not really, it wasn't good for your health and like for you showing up fully as yourself. So like when you let go and you step into this new reality, you're going to step into happiness. Like step into thinking about how your art can make more people smile, make more people laugh. Like I know as artists, especially right now, cuz look, especially right now. Like there's definitely a pull to maybe want to dive into things that are happening in a more, I guess you could say, direct way, or even like on the nose way. Like period point blank, the atrocities that are happening and have been happening period point blank all throughout the world are really bad. But you have to understand. I saw this thing the other day that was like, how am I supposed to make art right now when everything's going wrong? And as a black person, especially one that has ancestors that's been here since the the beginning of this country in America, we've been creating art. We've been creating art that explores all of the emotions, including happiness, including things that make people laugh, smile. Because guess what? I'm telling you right now, like that's what people need right now. Like people right now need something that's going to put them in a space of surrendering, right? Like when you laugh and when you like are allow yourself to be humorous, you like allow yourself to be in a better space. I'll say this because I know the Drake and Kendrick beef, y'all might say, oh, that shit been dragging for hella long or whatever. But I'll tell you this, I always said if Drake would have leaned into more humor, his fall wouldn't have been as like terrible. His fall wouldn't have been as catastrophic because it would have been him surrendering and saying, "Look, this is the moment right now. This is literally what I've called in." His a lot of his art leaned into that gangster side. Like, no, I fell off as a fan like a minute ago when after he stopped doing the Loverboy stuff, and in a way the energy he called in with the new music he was making is exactly what he got. So that's the thing, is like when you keep down this road of like, no, it has to be like this, I have to try to control my image and the way people see my art, you're not going to be happy with that. I'm telling you right now. Like it's just, it can have a catastrophic end. Okay, like when you don't surrender the control and just fall into your happiness. And so this anxiety card is kind of like, it's an interesting one to me because it is in this green color, but as you can see it's like kind of an anxiety inducing color. And I don't necessarily want this card to scare y'all. Like I think it's kind of like one of those tower type cards where people were like, oh my god, like what does that mean for me? But what I could tell you right now, no, actually this is technically in the yellow category. I forgot, because you got like yellow green and you got like green yellow or whatever. I guess this is like yellow green. But one thing that I want to say about this is that even though this is the energy that's coming up, it's only saying that like you may get anxiety because you're like, this is too good. You feel me? Like, and you have to be mindful of that. Like, be mindful of the fact that when you're changing your habits, you let go of old limiting beliefs, you surrender to, your highest self. You're finding yourself in this more happy place. You're finding yourself making music, art, things that make people laugh, make people smile. And you might be sitting there like, wait, hold on. Like, is this too good to be true? Like, are these results like things that I actually deserve? I'm telling you right now that yes, you deserve it. I'm telling you right now that you absolutely need to already take preventative measures so that this anxiety does not get the best of you. Because this anxiety is something that I will say that while I would say don't be scared of this card, it is a card that is at least forewarning that this could be something that you're stepping into. And while this may be inevitable, because I'm telling you right now, as an anxiety ridden, I was about to call myself out by name, but I'm a refrain from that. As an anxiety ridden woman, let's just say it like that, grown ass woman, I have to take measures to curb that because I know it's going to happen. Okay. I know a lot of times in like the spiritual bypassing nature of certain spiritual people, it can be like, oh my gosh, like, don't ever think negative thoughts or don't ever feel, and it's just like we're human at the end of the day, and we're gonna feel things that take us off our rocker. And sometimes that thing is happiness. Like sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm not depressed, I'm not mad, or I'm actually kind of cool right now, or I at least found a space despite my circumstances where internally I'm good. So why do I still feel like this? And the thing is that that is something that is normal. And this is a reminder of that as well. Like this is not a space to be perfect. This is not a space, especially with your art. Don't try to be perfect with your art. When you start getting happy with it, don't start overthinking it. Like just be in it, okay? And usually this anxiety is really stemming from something that is valid. So check yourself, look at your life, look at the things that you may be avoiding within this happiness, right? Don't get too diluted into happiness that you now are creating anxiety on the back end from things that you ignored, from things that you may have surrendered that you now got to realize, oh snap, me surrendering that meant had other consequences, right? So what we want to do with this is we start scripting. Okay, this is where we start actually thinking about the ways that we want to feel. Okay, so when you feel that anxiety, you get that pen and paper out and you start saying, I am comfortable. Okay, and I think this is naturally going to lead us into our affirmation. Because I think all of this is a reminder to stay present, and that when you're in this space of creating art that's making people smile, making people happy, you don't neglect yourself to where you get anxiety and now you're burnt out and now you're thinking about everybody else being happy and you're not, right? So when we think about these two colors together, we have orange and yellow. These two colors are very close together in the sense of we got the sacral chakra here and we got solar plexus. I mean, that's quite literally the recipe for creativity. So don't allow this anxiousness to overtake you. Allow the colors to combine and use your anxiety to create the music, the art, even just a good environment at work, okay? Because even if you're not actively creative, you are creator of your reality. Okay. And so let's make an affirmation for this. When we have the solar plexus representing self esteem, pleasure, and then we have the sacral chakra representing creativity, sexual energy, just pretty much like those two things coming together with the surrendering. When I tell you this can make some beautiful art. So let's say when it comes to this, our affirmation can be and full transparency here, I'm also looking at a photo that's going to remind me of just like what the actual things are that go with each chakra, because I don't remember the beginnings of like, okay, so when we have sacral chakra stuff, it's I feel, solar plexus stuff is I do. So we can say I feel that I can do everything I put my happiness to. Okay? I feel in my soul that I am capable. I am quite skilled at, and I am able to create from a place of happiness. Okay? Oh my gosh, that's actually so powerful because I think a lot of times, especially with the paradigm we've been in, we've been taught that you got to be a starving artist. You got to have a terrible family background. You got to be like somebody that went through a lot of trauma. And let's keep it a whole being. A lot of us have been like literally all those things I fit. However, there comes a time where you actually have to come to grips with the fact that we are the builders of the new world. And we want to flip all that. We don't want no more starving artists. We don't want any more artists that have to be like super duper traumatized or worked to the bone like a great like Michael Jackson to be great like Michael Jackson, right? Like Michael Jackson should have been able to be born in a world where yes, he was encouraged to explore his gifts, but just imagine how much bigger these stars could have been, and all of us, right? could be if we actually lived in a better paradigm where we could create from our happiness and not have to create after we've been battered down, beat down, and all that. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to end it here. I mean, for my first time, I feel pretty good. I definitely think that this is something that I will continue. So let me know if this resonated with you, and I will see you next time. Peace, loves.